Welcome back to the ETF Inspector. In this video, I'm going to talk about YieldMax funds YMAG and YMAX and why I don't cover them. So not that there's anything wrong with them. I have shares of YMAG. I am looking to get shares of YMAX, but I'm learning new things. So when I made my last video, I didn't realize that there's like a live chat and that goes away once the video is over. So if people are commenting things in the live chat, I never thought to watch my own videos because I just made it. I know what I said. But now that I know there's people sending messages, I'll probably try to start paying attention to that if I'm not going to bed. Just so I can answer questions or talk to you guys. So somebody brought up YMAX and covering that fund. And not to say, I wouldn't just say no in general. I'm going to give the reason because I was looking into these the other day. I currently hold YMAG, and I'll admit I made that purchase with very little information. And now that I've done my own studying, I actually think I like YMAX better. But so to explain what they are on YieldMax, right? YieldMax has a lot of different types of funds. Most people are familiar with the individual funds where they trade options on Tesla or trade options on Apple or vice versa. And then the one I cover is the Ultra ETF, right? Where, they just trade options on everything. But they also have a couple called fund of funds, and I'm not going to go into these Dorsey Wright ones because I'm really not familiar. But there's YMAX and YMAG, and it's the universal fund of funds is YMAX, and the MAG 7 fund of funds for YMAG. So that's what YMAG stands for, YieldMax Magnificent 7 Fund of Options Income ETFs. And if you're not familiar, right, the Magnificent Seven are these, very large companies: Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, Meta platforms. So Alphabet, known as Google; Meta, formerly Facebook; Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. All right, so major companies, major stocks, right? So but it doesn't hold these stocks. It holds their own covered call ETF funds on these stocks. So this will have the 7 of the MAG 7 that they cover: Tesla, Apple, Nvidia, AMZ, FBY, GUI, I guess you call it, and so on. So if you look at it, it's a roughly $15 fund, right? There's $302 million in it, and there's about 20 million shares. The reason I wouldn't cover it is because they really don't do anything. If we bring up the intraday trades and we go through the list kind of quickly, you'll see the point is all these individual funds have trades, and then the ultra funds have trades, and then some of the other more specific funds. But these other two fund of funds, they don't trade any options. So they just hold the funds that trade options. So really, there would be nothing to cover. I can make this video, tell you what it's about, and that's the end. So here's their holdings, right? They've got their money kind of split between holding the YieldMax Tesla Option Fund, also known as TSLY, right? Microsoft, we already listed them. And then they also have the First American Government Obligations. It's generally a treasury, and you can see that that's not an even weight. So this is a fund made up of those 7 funds that they trade. So it's going to make money because the individuals make money and they pay out a dividend and they change in value. So that's how this would make money and change. But as you can see, so there's not a whole lot to be made, for starters, because they're not trading any options within this, and then also because the Mag 7 are, not to say stable, because Tesla moves, makes some pretty big moves. What other one does? Nvidia makes some pretty big moves, but in general, these aren't enormously volatile. So like it is a weekly, so they got about 10 cents has been the average lately on the weeklies. So these are safer, right? And so that's why it's more of a lower, still great compared to most dividend stocks, but a lower distribution rate. 36% is like the annualized percentage based on what they're doing. YMAX is the one I like a little bit more. This is the universe fund of options. So like I said, this is kind of all of the individual ones that they have. And one thing I forgot to mention, so the only real trading, you call it, that they would do is on a monthly basis. The portfolio will be reallocated, so they just kind of even it up. So if the value of one goes way up, the value of another goes way down, and they suddenly become unbalanced, they will sell from the one that has gone up in value, buy into the one that's gone lower to kind of keep even. All right, so YMAX, same idea. The only difference is it's all the individuals. So you get a whole lot more of the ones that have a lot more volatility. So they're getting a whole lot more premium when they're selling those options. So if they win bigger. So when we go down, take a look. This fund's actually a little cheaper. It's about $13. There's almost $750 million in this one, where the other one had 20 million shares. This one has 54 million shares. But this one, also a weekly payer, pays out a little more, right? Which makes sense. It's riskier. There's more money to be made. So it's a few dollars cheaper to own the fund, and you're getting a few cents more on average. Like there's no guarantees on your weekly distributions. So when you bring your cost down and your distribution up, it's almost a double. That one was in the 30s. This one's in the 60s. So higher potential for the income, and at the same time safer than buying an individual, because one individual fund, you're relying on one fund manager, and if they're getting their butt kicked, you're just losing money. So this one kind of balances it out. Okay, I think that's really everything. So that's the reason I wouldn't cover them, because they don't make trades. They're just holding a collection of those funds. So it would be pretty boring. There wouldn't really be any updates. I would just tell you when they reallocated, if one went up and the other went down. So this one is more of a set it and forget it, right? You can put your money in there, collect your weekly dividend, and it's nice. Like I said, I'm looking to, I'm probably going to sell my YMAG shares and buy YMAX. But so I think that's just about all I want to talk about. One other thing, if you guys have never used Canva, it's pretty neat. I'm not very computer savvy. It lets me use like an image generator. So the thumbnail for this one, that's not me. I'm not tall, dark, and handsome. That's actually a AI image. I'm bald. But so I thought this was cool, and it's actually a free website. So this is how I make my thumbnails. But All right, that's it for YieldMax funds, YMAX and YMAG. Um, I like them, but I won't be covering them. All right, thank you. Good night.